Yo, 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 everybody. Welcome to episode 56 of Value Town, a podcast and talk show that we do each and every week about Hearthstone. I'm ChanManV, joined today by my co-host Reynad, and our guest, our first-time guest, Orange from Team Archon. How you doing, Orange?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just woke up, a little bit tired, but excited to be on this show.
Awesome, man. Ray, how you doing, man? Got the fly tempo storm hat on. Like it?
Everyone makes fun of me when I wear the hat, man. I'm doing good. I just woke up and yeah, I haven't had a chance to take a shower yet, so we're using hat right now.
Cool. Well, lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of interesting decks, particularly a Murloc deck that we've been seeing this week. So we'll be talking about, obviously, decks like we do each and every week. We're going to be doing Tink My Deck also. And then we'll have some Q&A at the end of the show. No call-ins this week, guys. My screener's not here this week, and last week it didn't go too well. So we're going to go back to the old poster questions on this link right here, and we'll read them out at the end of the show. But before we start, I just wanted to quick update on, I guess, the holidays coming up and what we're going to be doing. So next week's going to be our holiday episode. And got a few special things planned out for that. We're gonna be doing some fun giveaways. We're just gonna have just a fun show, and we'll have a member of Team 5 on with us just to hang out, maybe just do a quick look back at 2015, some of our favorite things, favorite moments, maybe some of our favorite decks and things like that. But really just a cool laid back episode. And again, we want to do some giveaways with you guys. I'll be doing giveaways with the Value Town Patreons too, but probably not on the show. I'll probably do it outside of the show, just because not everybody watching is a Patreon, of course. So, but lots of cool things planned, Hearthstone giveaways and all and whatnot. But let's get started. First thing, let's talk about. Let's just talk about the meta talk. And the meta snapshot came out earlier, or maybe late last week. I think it was late last week, actually. And figured we'd take a look at it. We haven't talked about the meta snapshot in a while, but it is some interesting times right now. If you go to Team Tempo Storm here's the link, guys. Check this out.
Yep, got it.
All right, sending it to the chat too. But yeah, let's talk about it. So Tier 1, let's just go ahead and click on Tier 1. Got the aggro shaman, the mid-range paladin, secret paladin, mid-range druid. Actually, let's just do Tier 1, Tier 2 kind of together, because there might be some opinions, I guess, on maybe what should be in Tier 1, Tier 2. So thoughts right now. Reynad, I'm guessing that you agree completely with this list, given it's the Tempo Storm list.
Pretty much. I mean, Tier 2 is really big, but that's just because the meta hasn't settled yet. But yeah, after that first day I played aggro shaman, I was pretty convinced it was the best deck, like for laddering at least. And my list wasn't even the best one, so I think that I definitely agree with it being on top. I still don't know about like mid-range druid being Tier 1 or mid-range paladin being Tier 1, but I guess like I think like everything outside of secret paladin and aggro shaman is very close. Like all the decks are very similar power level, so
right, or just on the brink of Tier 1 or somewhere between Tier 1 Tier 2.
Yeah, like I wouldn't put Demon Zoo at Tier 2 right now. I think like Dragon Warlock's probably better. But or no, it's on there. Mallock's on there.
Yeah, Mallock's
oh, it is above Demon Zoo. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty close to where I would rank the decks.
Okay, yeah. Orange, what do you think?
I agree with most of the things. Just as Reynad said, I'm not sure if I agree that the mid-range paladin and mid-range druid should be in Tier 1 at the moment. Actually, I think this list, I mean, this meta snapshot was done a couple of days ago, right?
A few days ago,
yeah, a few days ago, yeah. And if so, like we've seen in the last couple of days on both EU and NA ladder, actually, we've seen a huge upswing of Rogue. It's it's ranked as tier 2 in this deck, but I actually think that the Rogue is getting back to its tier 1 spot just because that's like it's hold both rank 1 on NA and EU for like until Crane took it on EU a couple of days ago. It's been rank 1 on both servers. It has performed really well for me. I played in both tournaments and ladder a lot lately. So I think that list, if not tier 1 already, it might be there very soon. I also think that like one of the either Aggro Druid or Patron Warrior deserves to be tier 1. I definitely think that Aggro Druid is actually better than Midrange Druid on the ladder at the moment. Only thing that... Yeah, sorry.
So I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, Aggro Druid's really strong right now. I've seen a lot of it too. Yeah,
only thing that Midrange Druid got over Aggro Druid at the moment, in my opinion, is that Midrange Druid has a high win rate against Phase Shaman. But other than that, I think that like Aggro Druid just performs way better against the meta at the moment. And also seeing like how Oil Rogue, Aggro Druid, even Patron is like performing really well in Phase Shaman. Like I don't think that Secret Paladin is all that good on ladder, like right at this moment. Might be crazy to say, but I don't think that Paladin is that well positioned.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time right now in ladder. I mean, you're seeing a lot of different decks, but I definitely agree with those decks being moved up. So the Oil Rogue, I mean, actually most of these decks, Patron, Oil, there's no tweaks or there's no changes from the cards that were released this week. We're talking like the standard ones, right? Or at least Oil Rogue, it's the standard Oil Rogue.
Yeah.
No new cards actually at all, right?
Yeah, I know that the list that's been doing really well on EU and NA ladder has been Mr. Yagut's Oil Rogue list with 1 Boom, 1 Belcher, and 1 Tinkeroid.
Yeah, and he finished number 1 in EU, right? So
yeah, exactly. Really well. And no new card additions whatsoever.
That's funny. Of course. With the Patron Warrior, we're going to actually be taking a look at a Patron Warrior a little bit later here. But same deal, right? Just basically the last incarnation of Patron Warrior is what we're talking about. There's been some interesting tweaks to Patron lately, but yeah, basic Patron does the trick too. Okay.
Yeah, I think somebody tried like Finley and Patron, but they got rank 1, and I think they said Finley's like probably shouldn't be in the deck, but they still got rank 1 with it. So it's kind of interesting.
But yeah, what'd they replace?
That's such a frustrating question. How do you expect that question to be answered? I get that in chat so often. Like, in order to answer what got replaced, I would have to know the exact 30-card list you have in mind.
I thought you did know the list. That's why I'm asking you.
yeah, but it's like if I say, oh, you cut Cruel Taskmaster, and then you look at your Patron deck, and you're like, well, I don't even play Cruel Taskmaster, and then it's like...
Assuming, the latest incarnation of Patron with, just the normal end game cards too, right? Added.
Sure. Yeah. Those are all still there.
Yeah.
I think it's yeah. I don't know. I know there's one Finley.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
I think Loatheb is not there anymore. It's been pretty standard in Patron as of late since Sixo made it popular. But
not having Loatheb, okay. Yeah, I guess you don't need it against like.
That's the one card I can see missing at least that I think that most people will have been playing. But I don't know. Just as Reynad said, that's pretty hard to tell.
Yeah. Mid-range Paladin. There's so many Paladins now. And Anyfin's not even on. The Murloc one's not even on here. Where do you think the Murloc one falls, guys?
I mean, the only time I played that deck was like, okay, the set came out, and the first thing I did was build like every iteration of Anyfin that I could possibly come up with. And after playing for like 2 hours, I just felt like normal mid-range Paladin was just a lot better than the Anyfin one.
Yeah.
So I would place it at like tier 4, but maybe I'm wrong and it's actually better than that. I don't think it is, but maybe
tier 4. Wow. Okay. I think
I got the exact same feeling as you did. I tried playing it yesterday because I knew we would discuss it here on Value Town.
Yeah.
So just tried it out, and every single game, like where I did stuff that Midrange Paladin does. I felt like I won. And like anytime I tried to get cute with Murlocs, like that was just not strong enough. So like I'm gonna look really stupid when that deck becomes the new secret Paladin. But I agree with you, Reynad. I think it's like I don't think it's a very good deck and just a cute thing that people want to make work.
Yeah, just a gimmicky deck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we? That's probably a good transition just to go ahead and talk about some of the decks that we were planning. And given that this Anything Can Happen card was released this week, and everybody I think in the community has been trying to, every streamer, every player has been trying to come up with a cool deck. We picked 2 of them here. Actually, let me link Dog's version again here. We basically Tice's version and Dog's version. We felt like would have been interesting to take a look at, but let me grab Dog's version. I didn't actually make sure I have it for Ray here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, does Ray not? Ray, do you have the Dog version here? Here you go. It's right here. Let me just give it to you. I have to link it in the notes here. Here we go. Let me bring up the card view for the viewers here. So the left one on the screen right now is Tice's version, and the right one is Dog's version. And you can kind of see the difference. The left one is more of a mid-range Paladin that just has all the Anything Can Happen cards mixed in, or at least the bare minimum, which is I believe 5 cards, 5 Murloc cards that is. And Dog's version is quite different. Looks more like a OTK only type of deck versus a mid-range deck that adds some Murloc and win conditions to it. What do you guys think about this deck? Just looking at it, I'm not sure if you guys have gotten a chance to play anything like these decks, but first glance, what do you think?
On paper, it looks like it would work, and then in practice, you draw 3 mana 3/3s and like die because they're not real cards. I think. Yeah, man, it works, right? The deck works, and I get the idea behind it, but it's just like it just feels weaker, I guess. Some games you're playing against Hunter, and you like really need to draw a good curve, or you really need to, or like you're playing against aggro shaman, and you need to be able to interact and have healing and all these things. And it's like when you draw Murlocs, it just makes it so hard to win. It's interesting that they cut Grimscale Oracle. I really like that. So maybe, at least Dog did. So maybe that's what I was doing wrong. But Tice is still playing it. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, but Tice threw in that zombie chow, kind of to your point, though. You need some kind of presence like early on against those faster decks, or you just get run over. Orange, what do you think?
I actually tried both lists out yesterday, and I have to say that I like as a Murloc deck, as an Anyfin deck, I like Dog's list way more. I guess I like Tice's list more because it's more like midrange Paladin, which I think is just a better deck. But as an Anyfin list, I like Dog's list way more. It just he has like a lot of ways to stall the game. He has the double lay on hands, which I think is super crucial for the deck if you cut the Grimscale Oracles. So the plan is it actually I may just be dumb, but it took me some time to get this. That like with Dog's deck, the plan is not to OTK them with the first Anyfin, but like what you do is that you like have like three or so Murlocs die. You cut and you stall the game until the point where you can cast the first Anyfin. You clear the board with the first Anyfin because you get some Blue Jills or Merc Ice Pack. And then with the second Anyfin, you get back like multiple copies of it. If you had like 2 War Leaders die, you will get 4 War Leaders back from the second one. And that is definitely an OTK. Like they die from that almost 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And like I actually I was watching Dog's stream before I fell asleep yesterday, and I think I fell asleep when he was rank 14 legend with the deck or something. So like he is the person that makes me doubt myself that when I'm saying that this deck is not very good, because he's actually performing really well with it. But Tice's list just felt a lot more like just a mid-range Paladin, and I even like played a game where I went to like almost fatigue against Patron Warrior somehow, and I didn't even win when I cast my Anyfin. Like I could just put him down to like 5 or whatever, and then I died on the backswing. Like if that's what happens when you play an Anyfin deck and you're almost in fatigue, I don't know. It doesn't seem all that powerful to me.
Well, to put it out there too, Tice's deck, he got to rank 5 at one point with it too.
Yeah, I know. I'm
How
really
early in the
surprised
season
about
was
this.
that? Like, at what point in the season?
It was
Getting
prob-
rank
it-
5
it-
like
it
after
was-
the 15th is impressive, but
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a couple days at least before Dog's version. So
okay, so
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
probably like there were probably like 20 legends, like
maybe something like that. Let me see what
That's
the
the
date is when we
equivalent.
posted. Let me see.
Yeah,
Date is,
I'm
actually,
trying to
the
find
date
it.
is December 8th. So it wasn't posted that long ago.
it
So
wasn't yesterday. He played it before yesterday.
yeah. So it was posted just like 18 hours
Two
ago.
or 3 days ago, I think.
Yeah, let's just say
Yeah.
2 or 3 days ago. Which there's definitely a lot less
I
legends.
think his rank was the equivalent of having like rank 300 or 400 legend at the end of the month.
Okay.
So it's like
Fair.
it's passable, but it's not like I wouldn't call that like an impressive showing from the deck.
Yeah. Sure. No, but
I agree.
oh, go ahead.
No. I was saying that I agree.
I think Dog's version is going in the right direction, though. I like that. Just plays less bad cards. Like Bluegill's a passable removal spell. I think Dog's version could be cleaned up too, but I'd have to play the deck to really know. You know, things like Wild Pyromancer, I understand why they're there, but the deck might just be better without being so all in on equality. I'm not sure how. You know, I'd have to play it a lot, but I could see this going the right direction. I'm not sure about Azure Drake either, but again, this is like the card might be really important without having played the deck. It's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't like Azure Drake much is because it's you just don't get too much advantage out of the spell power. You only have one card that works with it, which is Consecration. So you're basically like paying a lot of mana for a Novice Engineer type of effect. Or No Mission Mentor type of effect. So I think that might be better as like, I don't know, Solemn Vigil, second Sludge Belch or something. But it's like the thing, without playing the deck a lot, you can't really make changes like that, you know?
Yeah.
He was trying out Cult Master instead of, I actually don't remember what he cut, but he was trying out Cult Master yesterday as extra card draw. I also felt like when I looked at the list that like this Azure Drake seems a little out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the double lay on heads. I think that's something that the list is totally doing right.
I think that's core, definitely.
Yeah, you got to get through this entire deck too. So card draw is huge.
What about Summoning Portal? Get him.
Wait, what?
Actually, think about that for a second. Holy crap! No. Oh man, what do you think about 2 Anyfin can happens in Tice's deck? Like dropping the Grim Scales too. Because I like that. I like that a lot, actually. The fact that you have to get... I mean, there's probably not enough card draw in his, though, compared to Dog's to get through the deck consistently.
If I do that, I want to add a second lay on hands to Ty's list.
Yeah. It starts to change.
But yeah, but then we're just becoming Dog's list.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much, yeah.
Just replaying a little bit of different mid-range game. But yeah, I like that. I really dislike the Grimscale Oracles and just playing one Anyfin.
Wait. Is Ty's not playing Tyrion?
No.
No.
Neither of them are.
Yeah,
none of them
Tyrion.
are playing Tyrion. With
Yeah, he
Can't
dropped
be right.
Tyrion.
Can't be right.
What?
Yeah.
Is it?
Tyrion is a very powerful card.
It's-
A very powerful one.
Is it? It's definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew, but that card is good.
That's the first thing I would change.
Just
Um,
throw in the Tyrion.
Yeah, I mean, it wins you the game in like half the matchups. It's not even bad against aggro either. I would definitely play it.
Okay.
I don't know. The way I deck build is like, I just try to fit as many high power level cards in as possible, and then I work the synergy in around those cards. What I don't like doing is playing like low power level synergy cards. Like, I guess Cult Master would be the example for these decks. It's like, it's not bad, but I would look to get the card draw from like higher power level cards like Land Hand.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, well, again, there's like a lot of different variations of this. I mean, I literally have seen everybody have tweet or something, some kind of version of this. But the prognosis here, well, at least Orange, like you said, like you're doubting yourself a little bit watching the Dog play as to the power of this deck. It'd be pretty cool if I have to say it'd be pretty neat if we could start seeing this a little bit in competitive. Not not have it be like the strongest deck. I think that would be terrible. But if it could be just surprise people every once in a while, that would be pretty interesting from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah, it's interesting that there aren't that many tournaments happening right now. I kind of wish there were, because the minigame's really cool. There's so many different decks on ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Game is against something different. I mean, the stuff I've been playing is like, even if it doesn't have new cards, it's like decks I just hadn't tried before. It's a pretty interesting time as far as the metagame goes.
Well, it's a great time. It's a great time in Hearthstone right now.
I'm preparing for some tournaments, and God, it's like more interesting than ever to do that. It's especially like when tournament organizers are also shaking up the formats, like Last Year Standing or Conquest or stuff like that. And with the new cards, it's just like very hard to prepare for tournaments because there's so much stuff to think about.
Yeah,
it's really, really fun.
So Finley was Sir Finley Mergleton was the card that we were talking a lot about last week, and kind of wanted to get your I guess your opinions on the impact that you've seen with Sir Finley just after getting a chance to finally add it to cards. Orange, actually, I'll have you talk first since we talked about
it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Sir Finley is like the card that I thought was probably the most interesting one. I didn't know how good it would be. Like the most interesting one from entire League of Explorers. Just the fact of like changing your hero power like changes the whole, like one of the core things in Hearthstone that should not be like messed with. Like it just like some classes should not be allowed to have some hero powers, and that's really interesting to me. And we actually seen him have like quite a big impact this week. Like we've seen him being a staple now in the face shaman decks. Like just because that deck, like it doesn't use its hero power much, but like it wants to have anything but the shaman hero power. Like for example, like face shaman with hunter hero power has shown to be really strong. We touched on this earlier, but Crane 333 got rank 1 legend with Patron with Sir Finley in it. His reasoning being that, well, the warrior hero power is not that good in Patron, and you can do some absurd things if you get, for example, he said to me that he likes the mage hero power most, because in the slow matchups, you don't even need your whirlwind effects. You can just go like turn 7 Patron, ping your Patron to like make patrons that way, and like a bunch of other things. The druid hero power helps you out with your weapons and stuff like that. I had some friends on SK Gaming try out a new Face Paladin deck, the late Sir Finley, where it also did like a lot of work. Like Face Paladin's problem has always been that it can't close out games really, because like their hero power just makes 1/1s, and if your opponent has board control, that doesn't provide any additional damage. So you can switch that to Hunter, Druid, like or Mage. You all of a sudden have a way to close out the game, which was like Paladin's weakness and stuff like that. So. I think that's Sir Finley. Sorry.
I was going to say, you mentioned Crane's Patron, so I just kind of brought up Crane's Patron here just to look at real quick. But go ahead and finish your thought. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to talking about
it. So I think that Sir Finley might be secretly like one of the most powerful cards. Like not only the most interesting card, but one of the most powerful cards in the set, just allowing some classes to change hero power has such a huge impact, which is like it's just a 1-mana 1/3, so like you don't expect much, but like a 1-mana 1/3 that can change the entire course of the game is pretty powerful, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely widens the amount of decks that the classes can build now, which I think is cool. At least it's worth compromising the whole class specific, uniqueness, right? So that's definitely been a nice benefit to it all. Ray, I heard about one of the viewers. They were asking to see a Reno Hunter deck that you built with Sir Mergleton, I believe.
I'll pull that up.
Was that successful for you? That sounds really interesting to me. So,
I mean, it felt like a lot of the other interesting decks that you can build now, in that the concept makes sense. You can build the deck and the cards are there to build it, but then you end up playing it and it just feels like slightly less powerful than playing some old linear strategy with old cards.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the feeling I got from a lot of new archetypes. And I think that, like, give it a few weeks, people start like refining the decks that have the higher win percentages. We'll start seeing more of just like gold archetypes because they're just so flexible and good at what they do. But yeah, Hunter is like Reno Hunter was one of those decks that almost worked. I mean, it did work. I felt like the slow matchups are hard. Okay, here I just pulled it up. So let me link it to you.
Yeah, Reno Hunter. The reason I feel like it sounded interesting to me is Hunter was probably the hardest class to make Reno work. Whenever Reno just first came out, just because of hero power and everything, it just doesn't make sense, right? That you would use Reno in that type of deck, and that getting board control outside of just straight just the linear mid-range type of hunter, and going more towards a control-oriented hunter just never made sense. Okay, let me see what this looks like. Oh wow, it's long. Okay, let me.
I hope so. It's a Reno.
Yeah, it's
deck.
a Reno deck, so that makes sense. Okay, let me Reno Hunter. I'll bring it up. While I'm bringing this up, Orange, you want to talk about Crane's Patron real quick, or at least some of the differences?
Is it linked in chat already?
It's being shown right now.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, on this. So yeah, Crane's Patron is like a bit different. It plays Sir Finley that we already talked about, but also made some other changes. Like the one that stands out a lot is that he's playing no Pilot Shredder, but he's playing Horcron Elite instead, which is something I really, really like. I actually questioned him at first. Like Crane is someone I actually talk like quite a lot with and discuss decks with. And I questioned him at first about the Horcron Elite because Pilot Shredder is just one of my favorite cards. But apparently this is something that him and Life Coach has been talking about, that Pilot Shredder is just this card that like you don't want to play a Pilot Shredder when you're behind, and like it's just good to like push your advantage most of the time and not really to stabilize a board. And with all these like fast decks at the moment, like Aggro Shaman, Secret Paladin, Aggro Druid, like you want your cards to have immediate impact. And Horcron Elite like is not a bad card. It's just been like undervalued for a pretty long time. I think so, at least. And we see him here trying it out, and it's actually been working really well. As soon as he told me this, that like he replaced the shredders with Horcron Elite. I tried it out, and I really, really liked it. One thing that it also does is like now post nerf for Patron, the Frothing Berserkers are a lot less powerful, but being able to go Frothing Berserker into Horcron Elite and clear their minion or whatever is like a very, very powerful play. So I like what he's doing with the Horcron Elites. About the other thing that stands out is Sir Finley, and they actually told me that well, I'm not sure if Sir Finley actually fits in the deck, but hey, dude is adorable. We should play him. But he said if he were to bring the deck to our tournament, like he would probably not play Finley.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Ray?
So,
what do you think of Horcron?
I've been playing Patron for the past few months, and I still don't understand why people put Dread Corsair in the deck. It's like it feels like Iron for Grizzly that lets me armor up on turn 3. Like I very rarely get to like free roll it on a battle rage turn and all that. So I've just cut Dread Corsair from all my lists. That's like the one thing I would change. Also, I really hate Boom just as a card, so I would rather play Lotheb just because it doesn't get big game hunted, and my Boom bots are not very good. But other than that, I really like the Horcron change, and I think Patron's definitely a high tier 1 deck. So I would play something boring like Cruel Taskmasters in there. Oh, actually, I would definitely play like one Leroy. Love that card in Patron. I play it in all my Patron lists.
Leroy, okay, that's a new one.
Especially in a Horcron list, it's a lot better. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, that would be more consistent with just basically face damage or.
It just gives you a different game plan. They don't really account for the burst damage after you like roll out a Gromosh. It's like Gromosh number 2, and it's just so good at Despite and Whirlwind effects and everything. Ghoul.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Crane how if we could, with additional Horcrons, if we could make it a bit more aggressive to like support that kind of style. I never really thought of Leroy. That makes sense. I will try that out.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm curious too. I might have to try that out right after this. Okay, let me bring up that Reno deck here. Okay, Reno Hunter. Here we go. The golden deck. That's how I know it's raised. It's all golden. Okay.
Just seeing one high main hurts my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, right? He's got
The
pilotage right over there.
the first
There's
deck was
piloted
all
Sky Golem.
the first deck had a lot more early game because the early game cards are better, but then I had to like put in bad late game cards so that the curve was like better because the slow matchups are the hard ones. So yeah, I added like Sky Golem, which is not a great card, but it's, you know, sometimes you just need a bad high main.
Okay. I'm just taking a look here too. How do you like Dreadscale?
I don't know. The card is just so good on paper. I figured like if it's ever going to be in a deck, it's probably going to be Reno Hunter.
Yeah.
Explorer's Hat was surprisingly bad. I wanted it to like, you know, replace the Hunter Hero Power basically. So I'd have two cards that replace Hunter Hero Power. But yeah, Hatch didn't do anything. So didn't love that card. I'd probably take that out. Other than that, the rest of the cards made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Reno decks are impossible to give feedback on. You look at them and you're like, yeah, that's a pile of cards.
Yeah,
So
this is what I'm trying to do. Like, this is
What
a
a-
lot of cards to think about.
people always ask me to give feedback on them on stream. It's just like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's hard.
until you play it. What hero power is the best one for this deck?
Depends on the game, probably. Against aggro, I mean, against control, you want like Warlock, I guess. And against aggro, you know, Priest, Warrior, those have been pretty good for me. Help me win like the Hunter mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends.
This deck has no heal though, right? That
Um,
I feel like the live tab might hurt.
So
Well, you
Infinity?
you have Reno obviously, but outside of Reno, it's like pretty much half
Yeah, I mean-
draw Reno, and there's not much card draw here either.
Lifetime helps with that.
Yeah, live tab does help with that though. Yeah.
I mean, you could play a heal bot, but like I said, the aggressive decks weren't the hard part. The hard part was the control decks. So I don't want
Mhm.
more heal bots.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, a Reno Hunter, that was like I think the biggest challenge, or like that was the hardest class to make Reno work. So this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a starting point. I'll see if it ever ends up being a thing. I think the end of the day, like Reno Warlock will be the only real. It'll be like the most competitive Reno deck, but definitely an interesting card.
Okay, I mean we saw
Yeah.
Reno Paladin a little bit, right, at the Celestial tournament. You don't think that's going to be you don't think that's a possible class for Reno?
I mean, Reno just like heals you for a bunch of life, right? If you want to do that with Paladin, you can do that already. You know, you can just play like a heal bot, and then you get to play two of everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Reno
I-
Paladin list I tried had like, you know, two Chow, two mini bot, two muster, but you if you do that, then you just can't play a Reno on curve against aggressive decks where you need it to work on curve.
Mhm.
And if you don't do that, then you're playing like less than two mini bots and less than two musters, which is just like, it just feels like bad deck building to not play some of the most powerful cards in the game. So yeah, I feel like there's not really a place for it outside of Warlock. That's
Alright.
just me though.
Orange, what do you think?
I feel like anytime you try to get, like, at this point, I feel like anytime you try to get cute with Paladin, like you try Anyfin, you try Reno Paladin, like you could just do that better with the mid-range Paladin, is how I feel about it. Like, sure, the deck might be good or playable or whatever, like it might win games, but you would probably win a lot more if you just played mid-range Paladin, or, well, even like Secret Paladin, but that's like a more aggressive type of deck. So
Yeah,
I'm not
it's-
saying that I'm not saying that mid-range Paladin is Reno Paladin is bad, but I think that just like if you want to win, if your goal is to win as many games as possible, I think you do that better with mid-range.
I think like it's true with a lot of the new decks is they're decent and they work and they'll have like a 55% win rate. But then if you just play like the old version of it, it's like 65% win rate. So it's like a bit better.
That's a bummer. That's kind of what we're hoping won't happen, right? After this period of people trying to deck tech and things like that.
I mean, we are seeing like Face Shaman and
Yeah, that's
other
true.
decks like rising up from like Reno Lock was not a thing before League of Explorers, so there are definitely new decks that are actually good that's rising up. But there's also you have to be able to like sift between the good ones and the just cute ones.
Yeah, yeah. Given the formats too.